Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it is I, Taylor Field here, and oh my gosh, this has been a long time coming. It's finally here, though. Finally ready to talk about Assassin's Creed Odyssey. You know, I do apologize, a Geeks Creed, sorry, was supposed to drop, but just life happens, just gets so busy. But the game is out, I've played it, and I am here to give you a review. So let's dive into that. Non-spoilers first, of course. So, just to cover some of the basics, obviously, we know that Odyssey, well in advance, was a prequel to Assassin's Creed Origins, focusing now on kind of choosing and shaping your own path. I believe the game was set to have 9 different endings, obviously bringing back a skill tree, but, changing it up very differently from Origins. Many features are taken from Origins as well. The combat system, so just diving more into that. Obviously, the classic Origins Eagle Vision is back with your eagle, and so Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Right off the bat, my excitement for this game it was through the roof. Ever since they announced it at E3. Yes, I was a little bit bummed because, I was hoping Ubisoft was going to stick to their year off kind of rule. But then looking into more information on this about Ubisoft Quebec, working on this for the past 3 years, and I do understand, the timing of it, releasing or being ready to put out there just the year after Origins released, I get that, why they're not going to hold on to the game for another year when it's finished, so just release it when it's ready. I do believe that we will not get another Assassin's Creed for another year. I think that we have a good 2 years before we get the next one. I think I can say that very confidently now. But as far as Odyssey goes, being able to choose between Alexios and Cassandra, I do believe that Alexios is he's a character used for this game more for promotional aspects, and Cassandra is the actual canon character. That being said, I'm pretty sure that, canon-wise in the novels, they would probably just list Alexios and Cassandra as just being an ancestor, and just keep it at that, not specifically stating, which is which. But as far as I know, I'm pretty sure Cassandra is the actual canonized character. But for my playthrough, I chose Alexios because I felt like Cassandra was getting so much attention and yes, I said Alexios was used for promotions, but I felt like Cassandra was getting more emphasized and focused on. Every time I would look up anything Odyssey related, it was always Cassandra. So I wanted to really feel Alexios' perspective and his kind of quest and journey throughout this. And that's how I started it off, going with Alexios. Overall, my experience has been 100% completely satisfying, and then some. The game has delivered. Graphically, it is superb. It feels fresh. Combat system completely polished off from what Origins had. There is one thing though, when the characters are talking, I do find that their vocals and what they're saying isn't as consistent with their lips moving, and that has to be my only con with this game. It stands out, and it's a little awkward for me to watch, but I can get over it. The graphics of everything else is fantastic. So right from when the game starts, I'm going to start diving into some spoilers now. So 3, 2, 1. If you haven't played the game, go play it. If you haven't played it but don't care about spoilers, and stick around. Or if you have played it and know the spoilers, welcome to the club. So the game starts off, we got Leonidas going to town. He's with his 300 Spartans, and they're going against the Persian army. And, it just throws you in with this cool cutscene, and you're diving into the gameplay, and it's just fan-freaking-tastic. Oh, I love it. And you feel like a badass. This is an age that, I think people really just wanted out of a video game. The Athens and the Greek, and the Sparta, that whole vibe and atmosphere. It's just so overwhelmingly awesome. So playing as Leonidas, you go to town and, you get informed of the betrayal. We all know the story, and it doesn't go well for the Spartans. And then it picks up after, where you are playing as your main character, Alexios or Cassandra. On top of your house, some goons show up, beat them up. And the story so far is it's really pulling you in really, really doing a great job at letting you connect to the character right away with being able to choose what to say. Now, that being said, choosing what to say, I've definitely made some errors. I do really, really enjoy the aspect, though, where having the options to say whatever I want, well, not whatever I want, but whatever's listed there, I do feel guilt on my actions, helping out to a couple, a man and wife, who wanted me to go get a necklace for them. And I could have kept the necklace, and I could have got a reward, or I could have gave them the necklace and let them take their chance and get out of this off the island. And, I felt the weight of that decision, and I really like how this game, you feel that, you feel guilty, and so I was, honorable and honest, and I gave them the necklace, gave them their chance, and I feel like that was so many other things. Now, some of the icons, I'm still trying to, understand, there's like the weighing, haggling symbol, and I thought that meant just exactly what it looked like, haggle. So when I rescued this, or found this spear for this lady who's gonna put it on her church temple and get tribute from people so that she can support families and stuff, I thought, okay, maybe I can haggle and get a bit more money for this before giving her the spear. So I wasn't going to keep it for myself. I was going to try and, wiggle my way around, not really being a total jerk. But Alexios just went straight to the point and said, yeah, I didn't find the spear, when I definitely did. And she said, oh, well, that's too bad. And I kept it. And I felt guilty about that. And I have to give him credit, though. I mean, that's really awesome that the game can embody such consequence, of your actions, and you feel the weight of that. And really, as much as I regret doing that, it's still cool to know that I have those options too, depending on what I choose. And that goes hand in hand with being able to walk around through towns and seeing things that I can steal, and everything I steal, it comes back to bite you, because sure enough, there are those bounty hunters, just like the ones from Origins. They're making a comeback, much like on a larger scale now, though. There's not just like a set 10 of them in Origins, but this time, there's tons of them that keep popping up, these mercenaries. And not only do they follow you and seek you out on land, but they do also on the ocean, which we'll get to that in a little bit. But these guys will hunt you, and either you can kill them to lower your bounty, or you can pay them to lower your bounty. It's very cool how they've changed the bounty hunter system in this game. It almost has a strong essence of Shadow of War or Shadow of Mordor, being hunted by those orcs. Very, very cool. Very, very awesome job actually done with that. But I've spent a lot of time, trying to kill these bounty hunters on my tail, and they always have one up on you. They're always a little bit stronger as far as their levels go, but it puts you to the test. And I have to say, like, going hand in hand with the combat system, the way and the vibe of the combat system, it feels so polished. I absolutely love it. I think this is exactly the combat that suits Assassin's Creed 110%. This is something, Origins had that freshness of the combat, and it felt at times a little bit, I don't want to say clunky, it felt a little choppy, just very much, I can't say bricked either. It was very set, right bumper, right trigger, left trigger. It felt very, as it sounds, that's how it felt, and so Odyssey, completely, it took that, and it was able to polish it off and just make it feel so seamless and fluid and absolutely outstanding. The way you can alternate between your weapons, and just how you can maneuver and roll, dodge, and just take on your enemies. Absolutely fantastic. Just the way it's set up is great, and how they implement your new abilities wheel, I'm gonna call it, and you can cycle through your abilities and just I can disarm my opponent by taking out his shield and knocking him back, and then charging up and then going in to slash at him, or I can alternate with my bow. There's so many different options that allow you to properly deal away with your opponent and apply different strategies to suit your needs. Going hand in hand with the combat tree, they have so many new different options to pursue, going down more of like obviously a ranger, melee or swordsman, or more of like an assassin stealth. Excuse me. It feels so much more like Assassin's Creed, obviously being before that time of Assassin's Creed. The combat just is absolutely outstanding, with the weapons that they've thrown into the game and the different rarity levels, being able to add, bonuses to all of these weapons or armor that you get. The armor itself is really cool. I love how you can actually customize now either your head, or you can customize your body, your bracers, your leg boots, and plate skirts. Basically, all these different options, which is fantastic. It just makes it really, really, really effective and much more immersive. So I think that this is something that Origins should have had, but obviously Origins was that step in that new direction. But Odyssey, I think, having implemented it, did an absolutely perfect thing. I think though the downside, well, it's not really a downside, because when you do get certain weapons, you can dismantle them, which is great, just like Origins, and you get some of your resources back. I do wish though that there's some things that I wish I could keep, like Leonidas' helmet. I know eventually it's going to get, it is I think it's a epic rarity, I believe, but I know eventually, it's not going to be, as strong and as armored as future armor sets, armor gear will be. So eventually I will have to get rid of it. I won't be able to keep it, and it sucks because there's stuff like that I want to really, really upgrade. I'm going to have to experiment more, because maybe you can. I just want to... There's some things that I wish I could keep, and I could keep working on upgrading, because I think it's cool to have those items with my character. I love the shrouds, the assassin hoods that you can throw on. They're very, very cool, and I'm just excited to see more of that. Being able to just customize your character just feels so good. Finally making it, such a huge, appearance in Assassin's Creed. Not just changing the colors of your robe or your just a whole outfit, but being able to customize it on such an in-depth scale is just fantastic. And that being said, also applying to your boat, being able to really deck out your ship. This feels like Black Flag, but the best qualities of Black Flag, and I'd even go as far as saying Brotherhood. It just has so many good features of some of the best Assassin's Creed games all thrown into the mix. And, like this with, like Black Flag's, like ship naval combat, this is very similar to that. It has many feelings and similarities to Origins, but, there's the seamlessness of having your ship, decking it out, recruiting your crew, customizing your crew's outfit. My crew are all wearing, the Hidden Ones garbs from Origins, which is fantastic. And then you can just go off and you can recruit people. Like, there was one girl I actually saved. You guys have probably, if you've played the game, Odysseus, or whatever her name is, Odessa. And so you save her. I saved her, and then I was sweet-talking her, and I did a few quests for her, and then finally, eventually, Alexios and her slept together, which makes me wonder, now if you're playing as Cassandra, does that still happen? Because, yeah, I just wonder. That's something that's very interesting, because I think that that's something that the game, obviously is probably taken a step towards too, and obviously in that time and place, it fits with the times there, and I just think that that's more attention to detail that this game is just really nailing and focusing on. But anyways, that aside, Alexios and her, they hooked up, and then I was able to have her join my crew as one of my lieutenants, which I think is super cool. And that's another awesome thing, is you can do these quests and recruit more other people to be your lieutenants on your ship, and they grant you certain bonuses. You can have a max of 4 lieutenants. You just got to keep upgrading your hull of your ship. You can upgrade your javelins, upgrade your bows, you can upgrade all these different things, and it just is really, really exciting to just make your ship exactly your reflection of yourself on the seas, and going around boarding these ships is just so great. It's so awesome to have that Black Flag vibe back, except you're not a pirate. You're full-on Spartan, taking out Athenian ships, taking out Spartan ships, or the mercenary ships that come out, which could be very, very annoying. But just, it's seamless. You're hopping off your ship, dive off into the ocean, go down, and you see there's all this loot you can get from a shipwreck. It's just great. There's so much wildlife, dolphins jumping up on whales, swimming around next to your ships. When you're actually on the land, you got tons of stuff from bears to, God, I can't remember if there's lions. There's some lions. There's a lot of wolves. Like an insane amount of wolves. But yeah, there's that, and there's so much going on. It's super exciting. Gosh, what else is there? As far as the mythological kind of areas and creatures are, I haven't reached any of those yet. I do know, for one, there's an Easter egg for Black Panther. Haven't checked that out myself yet, but it's very cool to see how the main character storyline has transitioned from, obviously your father Nicholas is watching over you, training you. He's obviously a Spartan, and you obviously, your weapon is this broken spear of Leonidas, and it's very powerful seeing how your father he's supporting you and training you and being there for you, and then transitioning to this scene where your younger sibling is being thrown off by the Oracle off this cliff, and your main character then dives forward and pushes off this Oracle, or I guess this one priest, off the cliff, and your sibling and this priest go off the cliff, and then you're deemed basically condemned to death, and your father picks you up by the neck, holds you over the cliff, and throws you off. And this is just absolutely insane. Your mom is screaming and screaming and screaming. So it's crazy. And then no one knows that you're alive. You manage to escape this island, and then you're recruited by gosh, I can't remember his name, but he's shady. He is a shady dude. But that being said, you get the offer to basically go out and you have to kill your father. And people know that you're a mercenary, but yeah, I mean, I guess you don't. The main character doesn't know that your father Nicholas is still alive. But you get basically the task of murdering him, and it's shocking. And I that's really what the story started to pull me in. So eventually, I start tuning in and get to that point where I get to find him, speak with him, and it's just secret after secret. He tells you that he is not your father, but he cared for you as if you were his own. And it's just, you want to find the truth, go speak to your mother. And it's so, excuse me, you convince the guy that hired you to kill your dad that you killed your dad, which you do get the option. You can either kill him or you can let him live. And I let him live because he was in a very, very horrible situation. I could not. Now, I felt the weight of the actions if I were to kill him, and I did not want my character to actually go through that. So, I go rendezvousing back with this guy. He then says, you know what, you're going to have to go kill your mother. Again, that's not something I want to do. I want to get to the bottom of this and learn all these different things. And, with 9 different endings to eventually play out, I feel like I have to tread very carefully and make decisions based on how I would make them in real life. I don't want to go down a very dark path in this game, because I know that you can. There's many things. You can be a complete villain in this game, and it's so easy to do that, and it's not something I want to do. But that being said, as far as actually recruiting people for your ships as well, I know that you can actually recruit your father and you can recruit your mother. There's a lot more other things that you can actually do on your ships. Gosh. I'm trying to think what else is there. The score is absolutely fantastic. The Greek twist and vibe to Ezio's family, absolutely phenomenal. I've listened to it many times. I love how Ezio's Family has become the signature score tune for Assassin's Creed, and every iteration and timeline in the Assassin's Creed franchise has done a different version of that. I loved Assassin's Creed Origins, Ezio's Family's cover. I loved all of these different versions. Unity's was good, Syndicate's, but Odyssey is just fantastic. And again, like, the score in general is just absolutely great. It just is so powerful, and it just has an awesome Greek vibe to it. As far as, exploring the game, going much more in depth, there's still a lot more I have to explore. I love how you actually bring down a nation, basically, or not a nation, but each province. There is coffers that you can raid and steal from. You can eliminate the political leaders of that area and do several other tasks like burning down the supply camps and such like that. Basically, to cripple down the state of that province and basically take it over, either for the Athenians or for Sparta. You get to basically choose again which side of the war are you really going to be on. And, I think that's, again, a really, really cool aspect. I find myself, I'm leaning more towards actually working for Sparta. But then there's things on both sides that I like, and then a lot of things on both sides I don't like. So it's just a matter of, I got to play more and figure that out and eventually make that decision. It is, overwhelming sometimes, though, when you're in combat and you get tons of guys on you. Just like, when you eventually get to do those wars and you have to eliminate a few captains, but there's guys everywhere. That is great. You just go to town and you go all out war on these guys. It just feels like, that time period. And again, Assassin's Creed Odyssey has embodied so many good qualities of all the other Assassin's Creed games and thrown it into the mix together so well, and it blends amazingly. This is easily, I have to say, it's got to be probably my top 3 favorite Assassin's Creeds. Brotherhood is up there for me. I really, really like Syndicate and Origins. Gosh. But Odyssey is just fantastic. And, I can't wait for the expansion packs. I did get the Seasons Pass, so I will be awaiting the Atlantis DLC and the First Hidden Blade DLC. And then everything that comes out in between. The content just seems like it's going to be coming out for a long time. And I think, this game, I think, has a lot going for it. I do believe that, I haven't gotten to see too much in the modern day, the exception of the main character basically finding the spear and going back in time using the Animus. There's hopefully a lot more that will be shed. I haven't progressed very, very, very far into the main story. I get sidetracked easily, doing side quests and exploring things, and there's so much to explore in this game. There's so many islands, there's so much of the map that's still fogged up, and it's just parts that I'm going to have to keep on exploring, and that's something I will get to in another Geeks Creed. We'll get Ruben to give this game a whirl, and we'll both be able to give a little bit more insight into another episode of Geeks Creed at some point here, and but yeah, overall, I think this game easily is I would give it a 9.5 out of 10. This game has hardly anything holding it back. It has so much working for it. The only con is just the speaking, the vocals and their lips not working together. The lips just have this awkward movement about them that I just really just find distasteful. It doesn't work for me. But the game, other than that, is fantastic. And I highly recommend trying this game out at some point. I know so many people are like, Origins is a game, maybe I'll give that one a shot. That'll be the hook for me. I like the Egyptian time period. You know what? Sure, fine. If you didn't get into that, I understand. But I highly recommend Odyssey. You don't have to play the other Assassin's Creeds to know what's going on. This game, literally, obviously it's a continuation in present day to Origins and the other games, but as far as, its timeline in the actual Assassin's Creed history, being the first and precursor to Assassin's Creed Origins, this game is the perfect one just to jump in with and just start, exploring ancient Greece and, feeling out the Assassin's Creed that vibe. And yes, people can call out and say, "Oh, it's not really Assassin's Creed game. You're not doing anything assassin related in it." But I beg to differ. There's so much that's captured from the Assassin's Creed franchise and embodied in this game, and I will recommend this game for long amounts of time to come. So I do hope you enjoyed this quick, short 25-minute review. I really don't have too much to throw out. I will say that, this probably will be the last Assassin's Creed game that we get on this current generation. I wouldn't be surprised if, the next generation, like Xbox and PS5s, come out and they split the game like they did with Black Flag on Xbox One, PS4, and new Xbox and PS5. I could see them doing something like that. Or they end up going down the road where they release like a Unity and then a Assassin's Creed Rogue for previous gen, something like that. But that being said, we'll just have to wait and see, and hopefully next couple of E3s we get some more Assassin's Creed stuff coming our way. But until then, I will do my best to keep exploring the game, and I will be sure to probably put out some feedback in a newscast, about the DLC whenever that comes around. But until then, have a good one, and we will see you in the search bar. And be sure to check out our 24-hour live stream, just coming up the first weekend of November. And yeah, have a good one.